So I'm here with Eduardo Ramon. He's a real estate agent who services the GTA, and this is a really exciting conversation for me because I feel the real estate market is something that is been hit in very different ways during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I want to start by first getting to know a little bit more about you. So who is Eduardo Ramon? What are you all about?
Well, thank you for taking some time out of your day. I really appreciate it. It's definitely been an interesting year, and we're going to definitely touch on that. So a little bit about myself. I've been a realtor for just over 6 years now. It's my love, it's my passion. I think what drives me the most is just having a genuine passion to help people.
Right. And
it's been a really fulfilling profession in that sense, right? Other than that, just a family man. Pretty much stay low key for the most part.
So you've been doing it for quite a while. How have you seen the market shift throughout the time of your career?
So it's definitely had its peaks and valleys. I got in right at the height around 2015 when it was completely a seller's market. I mean, you'd get a listing, you'd say, okay, we're gonna have offers next week, and you'd get over 20 offers and sell for 100,000 over asking. And then we've seen another valley when the government implemented a lot of the new stress tests and a lot of new rules, which really slowed down the market. But after, I think around 2019, it just bounced back again, right? And I think the main issue has been inventory. I think that's been the consistent thing that really hasn't been addressed, and just the demand in Toronto, right? It's a world-class city, people want to live here, and that's going to continue driving it.
So that being said, obviously there's a lot of competition, right? What makes you stand out from other realtors?
My genuine passion to help, right? Hard worker, very detail-oriented. When it comes to marketing, I always make sure to research the neighborhood, see what's worked for other listings, and kind of build on that and improve on that. Like I come from a service background. I used to work with people with special needs, right? And I think keeping my motivations pure in that sense helps me wake up every day and knowing, right? Like whether it's a family looking for a place to rent, or first-time home buyers, or a family looking for their forever home, or a sound investor who's looking to make some money on investments, right? I always try to tap into that genuineness of wanting to help, and I think that's what sets me apart, right? I know in myself that my intentions are pure, and that's what drives me.
Which is so important because, when you buy a home, it's someone's biggest investment typically of their entire lives, right? So they come into this really needing that type of help and support.
Yeah, and what got me into it is exactly that, right? When I bought my first home, it was a scary, overwhelming experience. I didn't know what to expect. Little things turned into big things because I wasn't aware, I wasn't educated on it, right? So I realized how important it was to have a realtor who's a guiding voice, who sometimes I think a lot of people in the industry, because we do it on a daily basis, sometimes get desensitized onto how scary it is, right? For whoever, whether you have 15, 20 properties or whether it's your first time, it's scary. It's a lot of money at stake, and you'd want someone who's genuinely caring, who has the patience to walk you through it. And I think that's what I enjoy all the time, right? Is helping educate people throughout the process while, again, finding them their forever home.
And you spoke a little bit about how, the GTA market is such a hot market right now, and there's a supply issue. Can you talk to me about how that has also shifted, especially during this pandemic?
Yeah, this year's definitely been, I think, trying and difficult for a lot of people. And for a lot of people, it's also been a time of opportunity, right? This year started off pretty normal. We had a normal amount of sales and transactions. And then by March, it really started to pick up in the first half of March. And then I'll never forget, the Friday that they shut down the schools and there was a complete lockdown, I think everyone kind of went into a panic. A lot of listings came off the market. People were scared to have people come through their home, understandably. And likewise, people were scared to go into other people's homes while they were looking to buy. I personally had a couple of clients who had just sold their home and needed somewhere to go. So it was very difficult. We had to take all the safety protocols, and I think everyone was learning as we went along. Definitely a very scary time, right? Because no one really knew what the virus was, what to expect. There was it was just a lot of pandemonium. And ultimately, I think, again, assisting my clients through that time and myself learning at the same time, right? Safety protocols and how to really protect my clients was a great learning experience. And then by April, I think the only transactions going on were people who literally had no choice but to move. Sales dropped by like 85%. Things were kind of at a standstill. Banks weren't really open. People were scared about closing their deals on time. And it was just kind of like a wait to see what happens, right? I mean, we shifted from in-person meetings to almost completely through Zoom, right? Virtual tours, expecting people to buy a property through just viewing it on video without physically seeing it was, I think, intimidating and scared a lot of people out of the market. So it definitely had a drastic effect, but I think as soon as spring started rolling around and a lot of the restrictions started getting lifted, a lot of people saw opportunity, right? There was a lot of investors who were willing to jump back in, prices were low. And by June, July, it just took off. It jumped up by like almost 90%. Prices right now were 25% over last year at this time.
Wow. Considering we're in a pandemic, that's kind of crazy to hear.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a testament to there not being enough freehold inventory. And I think condos, we've kind of seen the opposite, where a lot of it was prospector driven. So a lot of the condos in the GTA, especially in Toronto, were owned by investors. A lot of people were landlords or using them as Airbnbs. And I think once travel started and a lot of tenants ended up moving back home or couldn't afford the rent, it really drove up the inventory for rental units, and it kind of scared the investors away from the condo market. So you had like a huge jump in inventory, and the demand kind of dwindled because a lot of people who were working in the city, for example, started working remotely. So if you're gonna pay $700,000 for a condo downtown and you don't have to be downtown, that same money can give you a detached 2,000 square foot home somewhere outside the GTA, right? So
would you say the demand for condos is low right now?
It's low. It's seen a little bit of a rise. Like right now, where prices are up around 5% from this time last year, which is saying something considering the big dip it took, right? But I think it's going to be a while until the condo market jumps back up. I think once maybe the vaccines roll out and restrictions are getting lifted and travel is allowed, and we're going to probably see a big jump in tourism, and that Airbnb market and short-term rental starts to jump. I think that's when we'll see the return of the condos.
And when people that are looking to buy within the GTA, is there a specific area you typically say like this would be a better suitable for families or for single people, whatever else?
It really is on a case by case. It really depends on the client, right? What their needs are, where they work, where they want their kids to go to school. Whatever their lifestyle pertains to. Some people like being within the city and a lot of the action that goes on there. Some people enjoy a little bit more peace and quiet, kind of more suburban style. So it really depends on the client. In terms of return on investment right now, I think we're seeing a lot of people start to migrate kind of to Innisfil, Alliston. Tottenham right now is absolutely on fire. I mean, as soon as the listing goes up in Tottenham, it's sold within 24 hours.
Really? It's very interesting. It's very interesting to hear. So, okay, we spoke a little bit about what happened this year. For those that are looking to make an investment for 2021, what do you expect to see?
So a lot of people always ask me if prices are going to come down, and honestly, I don't see that happening anytime soon. The cost of borrowing is at an all-time low. Again, the inventory is just not there. The demand continues to grow. So I think the freehold market, so freeholds are being like detached, semis, townhomes that aren't part of a condominium. I think prices are gonna continue to steadily rise. I think condos are gonna stay a little bit more stable with a slight rise, but all in all, I don't forecast any drops in prices, right? So if people are looking to get in the market, the waiting game isn't always it, because sometimes you could get priced out, right? I know some areas, I've had clients who personally waited 2 months and then we had to switch our target area because they just couldn't afford it anymore. Like within 2 months, price in some areas, they go up 100, 200,000, which is...
It's the reality of the city.
Exactly. And I always kind of compare it to the New York effect, where a lot of people didn't see the potential in a lot of places in New York. And I think Toronto is very similar in that there are just so many factors that drive people and attract people to here. I mean, world-class education, entertainment. We're pretty much a top 10 North American market in terms of entertainment. There's work in all kinds of sectors, whether it's manufacturing, services, technology, financial. You have it all here, right? So it's always going to be a beacon that attracts a lot of immigrants and a lot of tourism. So I think that being the foundation is going to always keep Toronto and the GTA a very healthy real estate market.
So I want to talk a little bit about first-time home buyers. These people that are coming into the market, as you mentioned, might have a lot of questions and a lot of fears about how to navigate the real estate market. Do you have any tips for them?
For sure, call me. For sure, you know what? There's a lot of good apps and a lot of good resources on the internet right now. I mean, if you Google mortgage calculators, it helps you kind of break down what your monthlies will be like. And a little bit of advice that I'd give people is maybe take a month or so and track all your expenses, right? See where all your money is going and see what you have left over. And that will give you a very good idea of what money you're going to be able to set aside towards paying a mortgage and also maintain your lifestyle. Because a lot of times people will go and get a pre-approval and they'll say, hey, my max budget is this. But what sometimes they don't really take into consideration is that sometimes your max budget will affect your lifestyle, right? So if your lifestyle consists of going out to eat, spending a significant amount of your income on entertainment or travel, you want to take that into consideration, because the last thing you want to do is be house poor and then not be happy but have this new house that you're not enjoying, right? So you always want to kind of take that into consideration. And yeah, just call them. I'm always willing to help, right? If people have any questions or something they're not certain about, again, feel free to contact me. But I think that would be the best advice: is break down your finances, see what makes you happy and how important those things are, and what you're willing to compromise. Should people usually come in small when they're looking to invest? It depends, right? Because a lot of people, maybe they don't mind.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to spend on your home and you're okay spending time in your home, then yeah. Because at the end of the day, I think we've touched on it, is that equity in the GTA and the prices and the values just keep rising. That financially, I think it's the best move for your future, right? Is just to get into the market.
Okay. Is there anything else that we might have missed that you want to add?
Again, kind of touch on the year. I know it's been a very difficult year for a lot of people. Especially a lot of commercial tenants. I've had a lot of clients who, for example, opened their businesses in the beginning part of 2020 with a lot of big aspirations. This year's definitely taken its toll. So I think to whoever watches this, is continue to support your local businesses. I mean, today we're in this beautiful restaurant, Pizzade, here at Weston and 7, who were kind enough to let us use the space. And I think it's integral, right? To maintain the character of the city is the makeup of the small businesses, right?
Right.
So I think that's very important. And for most of the people out there, again, stay positive. So I think 2021 is going to be a lot brighter. I see a lot of potential happening. So everyone, keep your head up, support your local businesses. Thank you for taking the time to do this for us. I really appreciate it. And for any and all your real estate needs, make sure to give me a call, shoot me a DM, or send me an email.